Once upon a time. Welcome to Australian Book Lovers, your destination for imagination.
Australian Book Lovers acknowledges First Nations peoples and recognises their continuous connection to country, community and to culture. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and honour the sharing of traditional stories passed down through generations. We're committed to a safe and inclusive welcome for authors and readers of all cultures and backgrounds, including people of LGBTQIA+ communities and their families. A big warm welcome to everyone and a huge thank you for joining us for the Australian Book Lovers podcast, episode 164. Our mission is to bring fabulous Australian and Indigenous literature that spans a whole range of genres to book lovers around the globe, as well as fantastic resources and information for passionate authors looking to write their next bestseller. I'm Veronica Strachan, aka V.E. Patton, fantasy, science fiction, memoir and picture book author, voracious reader of many genres, coming to you today from the fabulous Wurrung Wurundjeri country.
And I'm Laurie Bell, your co-host today as well. And I am a science fiction and fantasy author for adults and for young adults. I am also a blogger, reviewer, a flash fiction writer, which is on my radar because I was doing that just earlier. And also coming to you today from Wurundjeri Wurrung country.
It's a beautiful part of the world, but here we are.
Yes.
And we're bemoaning the fact that so many people are on the internet. So we're hoping that there's no technical difficulties this evening.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but we've got a really exciting guest.
We do. I was so excited to be able to chat to Naomi Shippen myself this time because you got to talk to her last time.
I did.
So we were talking about her latest novel to come out, which is Before She Killed Him, which I love the title. It's hilarious, but it was such an interesting chat. It's This one's going to be a corker.
Yes. Yeah. Crime and thriller. Naomi is fabulous. Yeah. And she has done so well getting 2 books published in the last little while, which is brilliant. She's just
absolutely
taken off.
And she's just so lovely to talk to. So
she is
it was a good chat.
Delightful. Yeah. Very good. All right.
But
so
we will get to that.
Up.
Yes.
But before that, we've got a few newsy bits and pieces, and there's a few things to talk about. Last time we talked about writing a little bit. Now we're going to talk a little bit about publishing, and please stay tuned for the next couple of episodes because we've had some very exciting interviews, and we're a bit behind at top and tailing them, but we have got some great ones coming up.
We do.
And can I get this one out by Sunday? Possibly. You might. So if you're going to the Book Fair Australia, drop around to Ingram Sparks' booth and you might find 2 people that don't look like they belong in Ingram Spark because they'll be wearing red t-shirts with the little avatars of Laurie and Veronica on them. So,
podcast, we are going to pop up, so come and see us.
Yes.
But also we'll be wandering around because
buying too many books.
There will be books.
There are many beautiful books there, and there are lots of people doing things. There's panels and all sorts of things happening. So please, drop in to Book Fair. If you haven't bought a ticket, hurry up because I don't think there's many left. I feel like Saturday's all sold out. Sunday only had a few, so we left it a bit late, but we'll be there Sunday.
Yes.
First time in Melbourne, so thank you Book Fair and all the beautiful sponsors.
Providing all public transport works on Sunday.
That's exactly right. Oh yeah, I better check the train and make sure we're not on buses. Yes. Okay. In publishing news, some ideas for self-publishing, and you did have a great chat with George Ivanov, but that's coming up, so we have to wait for that because he's got some great ideas. So
that's another week or so away. But I tell you, definitely get onto the next couple of episodes. I think we're going to have some fun chats about all the things that we as authors are not trained to do.
No, and some people who do it well and can make it easier for us. Lots of things to look at. So publishing news, I
Mm.
thought, where do you go? And there's so many great places, really. Because I
Mhm.
remember as a newbie coming into the publishing industry and go, well, where do I begin? Don't you
Yeah.
just write the book and then it all kind of happens? Well, no, as we know. But in terms of publishing, all of our state and territory in territories in Australia have a writer's resource, like a Writers Inc. or there's Tas Writers, there's Writers Vic, all of
Mhm.
those kind of things. Sadly,
Mm.
Writers Vic has lost its funding. Thank you, Victorian government, not.
Mm.
And then we're going to be the only one without a fully funded resources. But for
Mm.
example, if you go on to Writers Vic, the
Mhm.
resources for how to publish are fantastic. So
Yeah.
they talk
Yeah.
about, there's downloads that you can look at. There's little uh, courses that you could do, but it's
Mhm.
about research. So this is you've
Yep.
written your book, yeah? So your book's
Yep.
done, it's
Yep.
ready to go.
Yep.
Uh, but you need to do your research. You need to look at
Mhm.
your budgets and finance. You need to look at distribution. You need to look
Yeah.
at production and printing, and you
Yep.
need to look at promotion and marketing.
Yeah.
So if you think about in any way, shape, or form, even if you're a pantser, you've got
Mhm.
to do this
This is the
with a
this is
checklist.
this is the edit brain that you put on. This is
You
the
must put
business
that on.
brain.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So do your research
Yeah.
and have a look at all of the resources that are available.
Mm.
Take the resources from reputable sources if you can. So
Yes.
lots of people go, "Oh, I've done this and this worked for me," which is
Mhm.
fantastic, but it may not work for you. So try and look at, even if you're doing
Mm.
some of your research might be who's publishing my genre.
Yeah.
So who
Yeah.
do I approach? And who's and really this is brought up something that I saw on
Mm.
Instagram from a group called Books on the Grange. And they
Oh.
were talking, they're publishing professionals talking behind closed doors,
Mhm.
former literary agent and a big five copy editor. But they had some really interesting stats.
Oh, I think I've
Um,
seen some
have
of
you
their
seen that
stuff.
one? Yes, so
Yeah, I
they've
think I
been
have.
combined kind of 30 years of whatever,
Mm.
but they're talking about the publishing landscape changing rapidly. And what's
Yep.
happening now is in the US, literary
Mhm.
budgets across the US are being slashed.
Yep.
It's impacting how many books are purchased across the country, and sales numbers are dipping. Now, this is just US, so don't panic,
Mm.
everybody. But
Mm.
book bans, of course, which we know about, are
Yeah.
increasing, especially for children's books and school libraries. So, PEN America recorded 6,870 instances of book bans
Mm.
across 23 states and 87 public school districts in the 24-25 school year. Wow.
And you and I both know you need to do everything you can to get kids reading. Taking books away,
It's just
no,
bizarre. All right.
no.
And what they're saying is, as many books are banned, publishers are less interested in publishing anything that could be considered controversial
Of
and
course.
lose their money.
Yeah, of
They're trying to
course.
stay in business.
Mm.
So sadly, in the US, middle grade is losing
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
And,
The one area that probably needs
we
the
absolutely
biggest
need.
boosts. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So library cuts and book bans affecting children's
Mm.
literature. So it's pretty hideous.
Yeah.
So have a look at books.on.that.grange and your
Mhm.
adult books are getting more investment, which is good for those of us who are writing adult. Printing costs are skyrocketing.
Mm.
Publishers' margins are shrinking drastically, which makes them more risk
Yes.
averse.
Mhm.
So advances are lower. Mid-sized
Mhm.
publishers are offering bigger advances and putting their marketing dollars behind them as opposed to the big five, which is interesting.
Mhm.
So indie publishers are taking more risks. The mid-size are taking more risks. The big
Yes.
five,
Yep.
not so much.
Yeah.
Agents are seeing spikes in queries, although their boxes are getting clogged by AI generative books.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
don't want them.
It's the other
Most
worst.
publishers have anti-AI clauses, but
Hmm.
they've got to get past all of that and work out whether or not, their queries are there. So lots of
Yeah.
indie books are converting to traditional publishers. So
Which is
because the big
interesting.
five, yeah, are risk averse,
Mm.
they're going, hang on, these people are making a lot of money. Let's pick them up. They're a sure
And there's the
thing.
book we can check it to see if it's
Yes,
got anything
yes,
controversial.
yes. And all of
Oh.
those kind of things.
But
So
how do they think they're going to have their adult readers in 10 years' time if they're not pushing books to middle graders? That it kills me already. And the ASA have another article up
mhm.
that's just come out in the last little bit about plans for reaching readers. And again, they point out that 44% of Australians are struggling with low or very low literacy, and that Australians reading for pleasure is decreasing 72% in 2019 to 69% in 2022. So they've got some options actually for authors to jump on to getting people to read more books. But how exactly what you were just saying, how are you going to have adult readers when they're not reading in their childhood?
Widely in their childhood. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And reading, as we know, makes children think.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, there are some good things. There's indie publishers go. Big film adaptations are happening. So I was very excited that Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi, which is fabulous.
Which is awesome. I love that book.
Mod by Brandon Sanderson.
That one too.
Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I read his first one, which was The Martian. Haven't read the second one. Aragorn by Christopher Paolini, which I thought they'd already done. But
I like that one. Yeah. All those ones are great.
All those ones are good. Anyway.
Do you know, I was reading, and because we have teachers in the family and in my friend circle, do you know the high schools are now teaching, this still hurts so much. They're teaching chapters, not full books, because they can't get the attention span of the junior readers. They apparently then they're unable to get through an entire book. So teachers are now backtracking and teaching to a chapter or to a couple of chapters.
So that is tragic, but I'm going to
It's
admit to
really
you,
tragic.
and I will admit that my husband is not a great reader. And during high school English, he passed his exam by reading the blurb and on the back and flicking through and asking a few people about the story. Oh, it's really tragic. I'd read it and I was deeply invested in it, but anyway. So you're always going to get a few who don't like to read. But yes, he's the exception that proves the rule. But anyway, there you go.
Well, so it is very symptomatic of where we're sitting in the world at the moment, and
it is
what digital technologies have done with short attention spans, and the fact that movies, they're writing new movies these days to repeat the same comment 3 or 4 times, so that way, if you've glanced up from your phone, you're not missing what's happening in the movie. Oh, as a moviegoer and a writer, that hurts.
It does hurt. Yes, it does.
The clever stuff, you miss all the really good stuff. But anyway, that's me having a whinge.
Well,
Speaking of publishing, though,
yes,
have you, my friend, watched any of Carl Krasinski's How Things Work on the ABC?
No.
Readers, writers, authors, anyone who's listening, season 2, it's available on iView. Season 2 of How Things Work, episode 8, How They Make Books.
Oh.
So they actually, Dr. Carl goes through the actual factories, the warehouses. He learns how book paper is put together, how book ink is put together. And then they show all the machines of actually binding books and printing them and all the bits and pieces. The only thing you didn't get from watching it was the smell of the books that you just want. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's a half hour. Everyone should jump on to iView and watch that one. So that's season 2, episode 8, How Books Are Made.
Excellent. And we might have a little surprise for you in a couple of episodes. And Laurie and I might be getting to the smell part. All right. I want to talk about barcodes and international standard book numbers.
Yes, the good old ISBN.
Yes, absolutely. And people see that and they see, well, what is this? 9 or 12 or whatever.
And why is it?
Yeah, why is
10
it? Why do we need
or
it?
12? 13, 13, 10 and 13.
It is, 10 and 13. So publishers are required, and that's whether you're self-publishing or traditionally published, are required to obtain an ISBN and to lodge copies of their publication with both the National Library of Australia and in Victoria with the State Library of Victoria. And you can find these ISBNs, more about it at www.thorpe.com.au. So have a look
Yep.
and look up Thorpe's, because Thorpe Bowker are the official sellers of the numbers here
Yep.
in Australia. So many books, and this is why you can publish without an ISBN if you want, but it's not really going to get distributed
Gonna get
because
distributed.
many bookshops will only sell an item if it has the barcode printed on the cover. And by getting the barcode, you can, like by buying the number,
Mm-hmm.
Thorpe will give you the barcode and then you put it on your cover, and or you get whoever it is to put it on your cover. So
Yeah, correct.
yes, they will only sell it. So registering and supplying barcodes is a business, and the
Yes.
full, you can
And you
see a bit of
must
that.
have a different ISBN number for ebooks,
Yes.
print books, audiobook, or- e- every
Every
version
edition,
of your
every
book.
version.
Yeah, if you've got a hard, yeah, it's every edition, every type of print, you'll need an ISBN number. But
Yes.
yeah, so you will need to that through Thorpe, they'll give them in bulk. They'll sell them in
Yes.
bulk. So
Yeah.
you can get a
They're not that
bulk
expensive,
pen.
actually.
They're not too bad if you're
Yeah.
budget conscious. It's a pain, but
Yeah.
it's definitely worth your while. You have to have them anyway. A
Mm.
lot of the publishing hybrids of sites will tell you they'll sell you an ISBN, but you
Mm.
are then locking that ISBN to that company. So if
Yes.
down the
And they
track,
look as the publishers as opposed to yourself. Yeah.
that's right. And so that down the track, if you pull your rights back and want to redo a new edition, you'll have to purchase brand new ISBN numbers anyway.
Which
So
I had to do, and it's a bit of a pain.
it's a pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because then you got to reload all the files and do all those things. Yes.
Mhm.
However, all of those things are available. Look at your
Yep.
resources. So go to your state and territory things.
Yep.
Look at the Australian Society of Authors. So that's
Mhm.
asauthors.org.au. If you just go asa.org, you'll get the anaesthetists and the all those other people, but just asauthors.org.au. They have
Yes.
fabulous resources there.
Yeah.
And Ingram Spark, who are the publisher, self-publisher, print on demand a group in Australia. They have
Mhm.
also lots of fabulous resources and booklets and things. So take your time, do your research. That's
Yep.
kind of the first thing. Understand your budget and look and see
Yep.
how much it's going to cost you, what you can do yourself. If you want
Mhm.
to spend some money, where are you going to spend it? Will you spend it on editing? Will you spend it on somebody helping you put your book on the cover? Think about
Doing your
all of those
design. Yep.
things, doing your design. So a little bit of publishing tips for you.
There you are. Yes, we've got hundreds more, so
We
I'm
have.
sure we will come back to tips in regard to the publishing side of things
Yeah,
in a couple
but
of weeks.
yeah, do your research. So in
Yeah.
the meantime, we better go for some news.
Yes.
And you may
Ah,
notice
yep.
that we've got a new what do you call it? Not a jingle. We've got a new little ping thing
Really?
that
We've got
was on
that
the
now.
sun.
Yay!
We got a new newsy thing. I forget what I call
Sweet.
it. A splash of anyway.
Everything has a different description, doesn't it?
It has. I can't remember what it is, but anyway, we've got a new little jingle. I'm going to say in
Yay!
between each little segment has got a new little jingle. Yes, so
Nice.
we're getting there after 164 episodes. It was time for some new ones. So Angus did me some, which is
And for a
lovely. Thank
refresh.
you, Angus Strachan Productions. All
Yes.
right, what do you got for news, Laurie?
Oh my goodness. So I actually, while I was waiting for us to join today, was having a flick through Instagram, and I'll read this one for you. So there's one that's popped up for Writers Festival Author Travel Fund. Now this is really
Yeah.
interesting. So this is a new opportunity for writers festivals, which gives you submit an application. If you get through, it will help support those authors to travel to the various festivals or whichever festival you might want to go to with a
Genrecon in
little bit.
Queensland.
Yeah, exactly. We need to apply and get onto these things. So you need to apply by Tuesday, the 14th of April.
Mhm.
And it is through, where's my little
Oh, this
image?
is
So it's
Creative Australia, I
right,
think, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
writing.australia.
Mm.
So jump onto that, do your research, work out what you want to do, but it's to help support writers to get to regional writers festivals. and reading festivals to connect with readers and peers. So there you
Excellent.
go. So that one
That's
I just
good.
spotted right before we started.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
Meanjin has a new home, which is
Yes.
brilliant. So the
Ah.
Meanjin magazine has got a new home back in Bris Vegas, or in Meanjin, which is kind of makes sense because that's what it's called.
Yep.
So the Queensland University of Technology has resurrected it, which is absolutely brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so September last year, 2025, Melbourne University Press announced that Australia's second oldest journal would close due to financial pressures. 85 years it had been going, and it was really allowed so many Australian writers to be
Yeah.
published, which is good. So now
Yep.
QUT, good on you,
Yay.
QUT, has taken
Yeah.
it back. And yeah, vital platform for critical discussion, showcase for emerging writers, and a valuable training ground for leading Australian publishers and editors. So you beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
This is good.
Yeah. The other thing I had was, of course, the wonderful Andy Griffiths has been named the Australian Children's Laureate for 2026 and 2027. So congratulations to Andy Griffiths. There is some fabulous kids' books there that he writes, and he'll be just fabulous in the role, just
Yeah.
promoting reading. That's all we want, promoting reading to those middle
And
grades.
making it fun, because isn't he the
Making it
author of
fun.
The Day My Bum Went Psycho?
Yep. Yep, yep. There are some fantastic books there. So,
Snicker, snicker, snicker.
oh,
We're adults. We are, Laurie. We are adults. All right. Hachette Australia announces belonging and storytelling event. This is another good one. Hachette Australia, the Australian Publishers Association, Media Diversity Australia, Diversity Arts Australia, which is nice, darts, that's nice, have partnered to present belonging and storytelling, diversity in publishing. So this is a dedicated space for First Nations, Black, culturally and racially marginalised migrant and refugee professionals working in publishing. So the panel aims to foster meaningful discussions, shared experiences, and a sense of community within the Australian publishing industry. So allies are welcome, though event organisers request they are mindful of the space they are in and come as respectful observers. And you can get more about that event on Hachette's LinkedIn. So yeah, jump onto there. It's happening in Sydney on the 25th of March. Belonging and storytelling, diversity in publishing. So I thought that was a really good one. I like the idea of that.
yes.
So there's a little bit of news for everybody.
Oh, keep us all up to date. The things just pop up left, right, and centre. It's fantastic. Hopefully, we'll have lots to chat about after our book fair visit.
Yes. Too much. Too much. I can tell that I'm going to be overly stimulated.
I know.
We better do book spotlights.
Yes. Book number one for our book spotlights this week, we have All We Need by Magdalena McGuire, which is a contemporary. Three women, a baby rescued from the sea, lives forever changed. When Safi, a passionate environmentalist, goes on a camping trip in the bush, she miraculously rescues a baby from the sea. The baby belongs to Candace, a charity worker struggling with new motherhood. The act of rescue throws these strangers together, inspires an intense friendship, and compels people to confront their deepest truths. As the novel dives into the turbulent waters of love, duty, and control, the women must navigate the powerful currents of their fears and desires to discover who they really are. All we need is whip-smart fiction that shines a light on how we live today. And it holds a mirror to contemporary parenting, economic insecurity, sibling rivalry, the environment, gender divides, and the joy of dress-ups. Acutely observed, funny and tender, this Tell Your Friends About It book will keep you gripped until the last page. So let me tell you a bit about Magdalena McGuire is a award-winning author who was born in Poland, raised in the tropics of Northern Territory, and now lives in Melbourne. That's three very different time zones.
It is.
And temperate zones. Magdalena is passionate about using clear prose to craft vivid stories with a strong emotional core. Her writing has won and been shortlisted for various awards, including the Alan Marshall Short Story Award, Deborah Cass Memorial Prize, the Impress Prize, the Bristol Short Story Prize, the Dyslexia Short Fiction Competition, the Queensland Literary Awards, and the New South Wales Premier's Literary Awards.
Fantastic.
Every time I read everyone's amazing bios, I learn more about what awards are available.
Yes, are around. Yes,
Are
we need to
around.
be
There are so
entering
many.
more. We
Oh,
do. And don't forget the Furphy Award, people. Get onto that
yes,
Furphy Award if
yes,
you're a short story writer.
yes.
Okay. Book 2, Songs of Shadow, Words of Woe by Matthew R. Davis. Now, this is horror, and Matthew's one of our very early supporters, which is fantastic. So, the beach where his teenage sister disappeared. Time and dream melt in the mouth of deep weird. An open mic night bears witness to a fury, a life-changing performance before a dread jury. A truck stop photo by a touring punk bassist, a chase across the country, and her most personal places. 7 friends mourn a beloved queer icon. A final bequest unleashes the deepest dark of an eidolon. Songs of Shadow, Words of Woe. A lonely film student attends a free indie screening. Will this obscure flick bring the end he's dreaming? 2 willful women climb a hill to watch a storm and learn their town's history of racism and scorn. Grotesque gangsters in a burlesque club dive. Trouble erupts when a new player arrives. Invited to experience true terror, not a relic, a horror film fan runs through a theatre derelict. Songs of Shadow, Words of Woe. Ooh, there you go. So 13
Wow.
morbidly melodic deep cuts from Matthew R. Davis, including the Australasian Shadow Award winning Steadfast Shadow Song and the Shirley Jackson Award nominated novelette Heritage Hill. There you go. A little bit
Wow.
about Matthew. Matthew R. Davis is a Shirley Jackson Award nominated author and a musician from Adelaide, South Australia, with over 100 short stories and 7 books published to date. He is also the vocalist and bassist of Blood Red Renaissance and Ice Cocoon and dabbles in spoken word, indie film, and graphic design. He lives with the award winning artist Meg Wright, a red wallflower, and her cats, Juniper and Lexi. There you go. They will keep him
Mm,
grounded.
absolutely. But well done with that blurb. That's
Woo!
beautifully read.
Couple of hiccups, but we'll edit those out. Okay.
Book 3, Stormy Normy Reining. So this is another one of our amazing Stormy Normy books. So, Stormy Normy Goes Reining is the third installment in the Adventures of Stormy Normy series, following the journey of a lovable Brumby colt with a big heart and even bigger dreams. When Stormy Normy is introduced to the demanding but exhilarating sport of reining, he must learn precision, discipline, and patience in a whole new way. The challenge tests not only his skills, but also his courage and determination. Alongside his training, Stormy Normy faces a new role at home, becoming a big brother to Johnny and Tuxedo. Balancing his own ambitions while guiding and encouraging his younger siblings teaches him valuable lessons about responsibility, leadership, and the importance of being a role model. This heartfelt adventure celebrates resilience, self discovery, and the power of family. With every misstep and triumph, Stormy Normy shows young readers that perseverance and kindness matter just as much as talent. Perfect for fans of animal adventures and chapter books filled with life lessons, Stormy Normy Goes Reining is a story that will inspire children to believe in themselves and cherish the bonds of family and friendship.
Just lovely.
Yes, and so the lovely Leisa Fail lives in on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, where her love of stories and writing has always been matched by her lifelong passion for horses. She studied creative writing at Griffith University, but it was her Brumby Storm who truly inspired her storytelling journey. Growing up, Lisa's family couldn't afford a horse of their own, but riding lessons with her cousin's horses sparked up a passion that never left her. In her late 20s, she finally purchased her first horse, Storm, a Brumby with less than perfect conformation, but a heart she couldn't resist. Together, they completed an endurance riding for many years. When Storm retired in 2019, Leisa returned to writing, channeling their adventures into the Adventures of Stormy Normy series. Through her stories, she shares the joy, resilience, and lessons learned from a life spent with horses.
Which is fantastic. And she
Fantastic.
and Storm were part of the Christmas
I
event. They
know,
did
weren't
a
they
fabulous little
gorgeous?
vignette. So that was lovely to
Yes.
see, Storm. All right, book 4 is The Sky's Edge by Clare and McGrory, and this is a thriller and suspense. Australian Federal Police Officer Brian Anderson's life gets turned upside down when he intercepts calls from a large passenger jet that goes missing with hundreds of people on board. Who? To investigate, he's paired with the smart and beautiful elite investigator Elsie from the Police Specialist Response Group. Brian and Elsie, Brian and Elsie grow increasingly close throughout the course of the investigation, but they each tackle the case from a very different angle. Events quickly take a sinister turn in his hometown of Sydney when an academic's husband is stabbed to death in his own property. His wife is the main suspect, but Brian and Elsie both believe that she is innocent and that the motive is somehow linked to the plane disaster. When a young man who specialises in cryptography is found murdered in a bizarre manner not long after, the only clue is his interest in a medical woman who is not who she appears to be. Ooh. Elsie grows increasingly concerned that even larger crimes are planned and that the events are part of a terrifying web of terror. Time proves her to be correct. The time to act is now, but it is running out fast. Oh, that sounds like a yes.
Yes.
That's a read the page, read the page, read the page to get to the next bit. Oh my God, look what's happening. Good on you. All right. So Dr. Clare Ann McGrory, originally from Scotland, but has been Australian for the last 2 decades. Good on you, Claire. She lives in Brisbane with her family and is passionate about great fiction set in Australia. Well, so are we. Good on you, Claire. That's brilliant.
Absolutely,
So
I love it.
that's a goodie.
Yeah. Book 5 is A Child Called Faye by Jess Senff, which is a fantasy. What is so special about Gryden? Why would a mysterious woman risk her life and that of her unborn child just to reach a village hidden amongst snow-locked mountains? Born in the depths of winter, a child called Faye is orphaned in this place steeped in magical mystery. Hated by the village, the half-Fae child is ridiculed and mistreated, forced to endure a childhood of isolation and loneliness. Yet full of courage and determination, Faye pursues her dreams and enters the coveted Austin Academy to become a seeker. In this prestigious school of academics, sorcery, and healing, Faye must navigate the murky terrain of friendship and foe to achieve her goals. If she fails or is caught making mischief, she faces expulsion. No family and no influence means that Faye must rely on her talents and tenacity. Can she pass her first year? Will her foster family accept her back come summer? Can her best friend Zen keep his mouth shut long enough for Faye to graduate? Find out in the first installment of the Pendleton Chronicles, A Child Called Faye. That looks like a fabulous one. Jessica Senff writes middle grade and YA fantasy novels, yay to the middle grade, based in magical worlds and featuring strong young characters facing a variety of unique problems, often involving evil sorcery. She loves when these individuals prevail, reminding the reader that solutions can often be found in life, with a little perseverance and good humour. Jessica spends her days teaching science and maths, hey, another teacher, in the Southern Tablelands of New South Wales, Australia. She lives with her husband, 3 children, 4 rescued short hair felines, and a beleaguered poodle cross border collie, that poor little puppy. four cats, that poor little puppy.
Yeah, beleaguered is the word. I can see that. All right. Book 6 is completely different. We're looking at $1 Billion Blindspot. What is your workplace culture costing you by Hacia Atherton? This is a non-fiction. So when a tragic injury threatened to completely transform Hacia Atherton's life, she dedicated her life to helping leaders change their lives and learn about how to strengthen workplace culture, improve retention, and maximise performance. So Hacia Atherton was an equestrian at the elite level, and she trained to represent Australia at the World Equestrian Games. In 2017, her horse reared and fell directly onto her, crushing her pelvis and destroying nerves. She was told she'd spent her life in a wheelchair, but took her first supported steps less than 6 months later. Despite enduring countless obstacles and over 30 surgeries since the accident, Hacia completed her first half marathon in 2021. Good on you. The determination and focus that carried her through recovery became central to her approach to leadership. Today, she helps leaders turn culture from a soft initiative into a profit and loss lever. Billion Dollar Blind Spot, What is Your Workplace Culture Costing You? Exposes the blind spot tax leaders pay via disengagement, avoidable turnover, and poor mental health. And she shows how to attack those costs with tools that leaders already have. So, from a hospital bed to boardrooms around the world, her story is more than inspirational. Her segment ready insights guide leaders on improving workplace culture and stopping cash losses within 90 days. So, yeah, a little bit more about Hacia. She is globally recognised and an award-winning voice in workplace culture reform, known for helping organisations turn burnout and bias into retention and results. She's also the founder of the non-profit Empowered Women in Trades, which supports women in male-dominated industries and promotes inclusive workplaces. So currently women are only about 3% of skilled trades. She currently serves on Victoria's Our Equal State Reference Group, advising the state's gender equality strategy, and on the La Trobe Business School Advisory Board. She's got a Master in Applied Positive Psychology from Uni of Melbourne, specialising in positive organisational scholarship, which is, it's actually some of the stuff that I teach too, which is lovely. And she's a certified practicing accountant. I'm not. She brings depth to leadership and consulting, blending human insights with strategic execution. This is so important. Through her keynote speaking and executive coaching, she equips leaders to elevate culture and psychological safety and in turn yield tangible results. Core business skills, people, you need to have a look. If you are running a business, you need to be reading Billion Dollar Blind Spot. There you go. Thank you, Hacia.
Well, it's very timely, I think. A lot of companies
Yeah.
are probably needing a little bit of a remember they're people, not numbers,
Yeah.
because that'll drive everyone off. Okay, book 7 is Bird Deity by John Morrissey, which is a science fiction. David is a scout. For 10 years, he has plundered the ruins of an alien civilization about which he knows nothing. Now his contract is ending and he's ready to go home, a wealthy, successful man. Except that everything seems to be slipping out of his control. His mentor Tom vanished on a recent expedition. David doesn't know what has happened to him. And as he waits for that ship that will take him away, he begins to question the choices he has made. That's when he is visited by a researcher, a specialist in non-human societies. She has traveled far to learn about this strange world and wants to hire David as her guide. One more expedition, one more trip to the rain-swept wasteland of the plateau, and he can go home at last, rich beyond his dreams. But he comes to realize that he may yet lose everything as he is drawn inexorably towards an encounter with the terrifying soul of this world. John Morrissey's Bird Deity is a novel like no other. At once disconcerting and eerily familiar, it's a cosmic horror story about power, theft, love, loss, and destiny. John Morrissey is a Melbourne writer of Kalkadoon descent. His work has been published in Overland, VoiceWorks, Meanjin, yay, and the anthology This All Come Back Now. He was the winner of the 2020 Indigenous Writers Mentorship and the runner-up for the 2018 Nakata Brophy Prize. His debut story collection Firelight won the Queensland Literary Awards Steel Rudd Award for a short story collection in 2024 and Best Collection in the Aurealis Awards 2023. Firelight was shortlisted for the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards for Fiction 2024 and both the Indigenous Writers Prize and UTS Glenda Adams Award for New Writing in the New South Wales Premier's Literary Awards in 2024. John Morrissey was named one of the Sydney Morning Herald Best Young Novelists of 2024. Bird Deity is his first full-length novel. How good does
Woohoo!
that sound? Hey.
How good does that sound? And I'm
Oh, there
holding
it
up
is.
a copy of Bird
Yay.
Deity that we
Oh, that's a
have.
stunning cover.
It is an absolutely stunning cover. So
Yeah.
I'll put the
Oh,
proper cover up so you can have a look. Of course, if you watch us on YouTube and Spotify, you'll see all the covers. But the next newsletter is Bird Deity by John
great.
Morrissey, A Game of Masquerade by Shani Cossins, which is
Way.
fabulous.
Ooh,
Shani is another brilliant Australian
yes.
author. We've got The Case of the Hildegild Sacrifice, which is the next volume
Ooh.
in the Major Gask and Errol Rate Mysteries
Ooh.
by
Oh,
the
love the
fabulous David
font.
Cairns of Finarvan. Yep,
Hmm.
that's a historical fiction one. And The Stalagmite Effect by Debbie O'Shea. Now, this is how small, consistent actions build extraordinary lives. And Debbie's put, she's signed her work, and there's a couple of other little bits and pieces in there. So, if you want to win one of these, you have to be
Yes.
in our subscriber list. And to be in our subscriber list, you go to, if you're not already, www.australianbooklovers.com
Mhm.
/book lovers. Give us your name and email, and we will send you a monthly opportunity to win a book. And usually we have 3 or 4. And I've got another
Yes.
pile. You can't see it on my desk there, but maybe you can see it over there. And our fabulous authors, in their generosity, even though most of them are not making any money, they really just want their work out there. So join up, people.
Fantastic. And I believe we hit a bit of a milestone ourselves with our YouTube channel
We
this.
cracked the 100.
Hey, 100 subscribers. We love you.
Yes, we do. So please, it's free to
Yes.
subscribe on YouTube. So
Yeah.
jump on and clickety click click, and that will help get all our authors out in
And
front of
then
more people.
and then you get to see all of the covers of the amazing books because we spruik our books and we spruik the amazing authors on the website and just tell you all about the books. But I
Yes.
tell you, podcast listeners, you are missing out on seeing the glorious book covers that we also get to see.
Yes. So jump onto Spotify or YouTube and have a look.
Yeah.
Or if you just
Mm,
like to listen to us, you can keep listening to us. That's all right. We
that's true.
we love you, love you, love you, love you to
Yes.
listen.
Yes.
There you go.
Mm.
Now, yes, I'm saving that because I
Do
think
we
we're
get?
ready for
Yes, my chat, my wonderful chat with the lovely Naomi Shippen.
Let's Go.
Book lovers, I am delighted to have with me today friend of the Australian Book Lovers podcast and author Naomi Shippen. Hello, Naomi. So good to have you back on the podcast today.
Hello, Laurie. It's good to be back after a short interval.
It has been. So,
Yeah.
listeners, but for those that may have missed Naomi's chat with Veronica way back in episode 89, I suggest you jump on, have a listen because the chat that the two lovely ladies had about your first debut, well, your debut novel, is absolutely brilliant. And we're going to go into all the details with your next amazing thriller. So listeners, I'm coming to you today from Wurundjeri Wurrung country. Where are you coming to us from, Naomi?
The same as you, Warren Jerry Woiwurrung country.
We are two little Melbourneites, so this will just be a fabulous chat. Naomi, I'll just let everyone know a little bit about you if they didn't listen to the first episode or
Yeah.
if they are just refreshing. Naomi Shippen is the author of Far From Harm, which is the debut novel, and Before She Killed Him, which is this new fantastic novel. She lives in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, works 9 to 5 by day, and writes crime stories by night. Naomi loves reading and writing mystery and suspense and is fascinated by stories that reveal the truth about people we think we know best. She is a prolific domestic suspense author of psychological thrillers you can't put down. So, Naomi, before we get into chatting about Before She Killed Him, tell me, what is it do you think about thrillers that readers love so much?
I think with the type of thrillers that I enjoy and that I write, it's finding out how far the people you closest to you will go.
Mhm.
Your nearest and dearest, friends, family, neighbours. I think it's interesting to see what people will do when they're really up against it, whether it's to, save themselves or to pursue their own interests.
I like that. That's a nice breakdown. So, given that everything in the world is so dark today, why do people read thrillers, do you think?
Well, I suppose like any crime novel, it's kind of a comfort read in as much as in the end, the bad guys get their comeuppance and the victims, our hero or heroine, they triumph in the end. So I think it's kind of a comfort read because I suppose, to a certain degree they're kind of formulaic and, they do follow a certain pattern.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, that's one aspect. It is also escapism. I know there's a lot of terrible things going on in the world,
Mm.
um, but they still do provide escapism, and it's different. I suppose in my case, writing domestic suspense, it's on a very small scale, as opposed to the things going on in the world on a global, overwhelming scale. This
Mhm.
is happening in your own, not only your own backyard, in your own lounge room, in your own bedroom.
Yes,
So
indeed.
very close to home.
And it seems that Australian thrillers in particular, those close home thrillers, seem
Yeah.
to have really taken off in the last couple of years, just
Yeah.
with popping up on brilliant TV shows and having those links. So do you think that there's also that element with watching, say, overseas, reading an Australian thriller?
I think there's themes that are universal. There's a lot of fantastic Australian thrillers by some brilliant authors,
Mm.
and also some, excellent, I mean, it sort of, overrides any nationality or boundaries.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I think, the world has a lot to offer the thriller reader these
Mm.
days.
I think so.
I
I
think
think you're
there's
very.
so many fantastic thrillers, just popping up left, right, and center all over the world.
So what got you into writing thrillers? Were
Ah,
you a big thriller reader when you were young?
no,
Oh.
actually, I'm pretty new to crime writing and
Mhm.
crime reading. I was never a big crime reader as such.
Oh.
Um, but I suppose I drifted there. Like my first novel, which isn't published, it was my practice novel. Everybody said to me, "Oh, it's so lovely. You write so beautifully. What pretty words." But you forgot to have a plot. So, but there was an element in my first practice novel where there was a little bit of a underhanded shenanigans going on, and people really liked how I wrote that. They said they could feel the suspense building and they could see the protagonist was unsuspecting, and it was almost like they want to say,
Mm.
"Hey, he's behind you," sort of feel. So I
Mhm.
kind of, drifted into it, and I think it gave me the structure that I needed, because without that it would have just been a lot of pretty words and nothing much behind it. So I think I like the
Mm.
structure that the crime novel provides.
Yes, when you plot out your novels, so do you start with the end? You know who did it, you know how they did it, you know what happened, and then backtrack, or how do you go about plotting a thriller?
Yeah, all different. I mean, I am very much a plotter, so I actually make up a little grid at the
I remember you
beginning.
talking about the grid. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you've kept with the grid for book two?
Yes, I've stayed with the grid for book two, so I plotted out the beginning, the middle, and the end, and I pretty
Mhm.
much stuck to it right with throughout. But the funny thing is, I've finished book three. One of the characters just kind of took the wheel and went her own way
Yep.
and did something unexpected. So I did have a plot planned out,
Hmm.
but I had to change it because
Oh.
someone else took the wheel and I had no say in it. So
Interesting. Well, we'll have to
yes,
chat about that a little bit later. But
yeah.
let's talk about book two. Before she killed him, let me read you the blurb so you can
Mhm.
all find out about this amazing story. A car crash in suburban Melbourne. One woman seriously injured, one man dead. But was it really an accident? Simone Henshaw is a reformed bad girl with a questionable past. Everyone knows the suburban soccer mum is a loose cannon. So when a suspicious car crash leaves her concussed and badly injured, and her hated next door neighbour dead, no one believes it's an accident. Simone had been feuding with Brad ever since she moved into the neighbourhood, accusing him of abuse and harassment to anyone who'd listen. But everyone knew Brad was harmless, deep down, and Simone was overreacting. The police are waiting to question Simone, and as she lapses in and out of consciousness, she's tormented by nightmares and flashbacks. While Simone remembers the moment of impact, everything else about that night is a blur. As she starts to recover, Simone realizes that things are not as simple as they seem, and that there is something that could exonerate her, but she can't remember what it is. If Simone wants to keep the family she loves and avoid a prison sentence, she must confront the truth that could destroy her and remember what really happened with her neighbour right before she killed him. Absolutely fantastic. And that really brings us into that title. So how did the title come to you?
Well, I suppose because I wanted to avoid the word "the" in the title. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I try to avoid the word "that." So that was my first criteria. And I
Yeah.
suppose the novel sort of centers around that moment, that pivotal moment in the story where Brad, is basically killed. So the story's sort of goes back into what happened that led up to that. So it's kind of like before she killed him is like the story of what happened before the main event. So how did you get to this point? So the story's more about, it's not a whodunit or a police procedural.
Yeah.
It's a why done it, if you like. It's like what led up to this incident.
I really like that. That's a bit of a twist on the typical murder mystery. What inspired you to write this one then?
I get into trouble. I'm going to be really careful.
No names. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, I have to be really careful.
Go for it. Now I'm intrigued.
What should I say? I did have yes, someone in my life was causing me great consternation. And one night I was in my car, and this person who was causing me and my family a great deal of trouble happened to walk across my headlights, and they looked straight at me. They wouldn't have been able to see me because of the headlight. And I just looked into this person's face, and I thought, oh, wouldn't I love to put my foot down and
what a great scene.
I didn't do it.
Good. Glad to hear.
It was just a momentary flash of fantasy, if you like. But and this is someone who was causing a lot of trouble and menace and fear. And, I just had that momentary flash of, oh, wouldn't I just love to just...
It's a bit of therapy, isn't it? Writing a book like that. I've got a few that may have appeared as the bad guys in a few of my books.
Yeah, I suppose it is. This is all a long time ago. But yes, I just remember having that momentary flash. I suppose that's what they call, if you want to go that way, an opportunistic situation. Absolutely. Which I did not take advantage of.
But it makes for a great story.
Yeah, we'll leave it in the storybook.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to ask about the research that you did, but just coming off of what you were just saying then, with your thrillers, because this one involves a lot of flashbacks and it involves a lot of memory and perhaps inaccurate memories, or that is that actually what I saw, what really happened. How did you go about plotting that down? Did you write those scenes as the story went along, or did you sort of write those scenes in one hit and slide them in?
Oh, no, I did everything sort of pretty much in the order of the novel. I like to, chop between the past and the present. I just find it, and I also like to play around with the same incident from two different points of view, which I did a lot in my first novel. So it was pretty much, seen from the the past, then a scene from the present, and just alternate the two of them, which I did pretty much throughout the novel.
Okay.
And I find that helps with pacing. So that was sort of alternate past and present
Okay.
structure.
Oh, fantastic. So with the research then that you did for this one,
Yeah.
obviously you didn't kill the person walking in front of your car. So what sort of research did you do?
I did a bit of research on um, memory and what happens to people when they lose consciousness. And she doesn't have amnesia as such, but I did read up a little bit about that and how memory can be fragmented and the effect that trauma has on memory and recall. And I did a specific search on, does the subconscious kind of protect you, if you like, from, traumatic memories, which it does. So even though you might be, straining to remember something, if you're not ready for it, your own mind will protect you until you're ready to have that information. So I did a
Wow,
bit of
fascinating.
research on that and research of hospital procedures.
Okay.
Also drew on my own experience being a patient in the hospital and just remembering, what it's like to be, under anesthetic, what it feels like to recover from surgery. So I had, a bit of my personal experience
Oh, wow.
as well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, did you also do any sort of location work? Did you actually go out to any locations since it's locally set?
Well, actually, this is all drawn from places I know very well, like the home setting is a home that I used to live in. I no longer
Oh,
live
wow.
there, but
Yeah.
it's basically, that home setting. And also, I do have a particular hospital in mind, one, where, my family has had to go for treatment, and one I was, quite familiar with. So it's basically the home and the hospital.
Okay.
And also draw on some of my work experience. I have worked as a medical receptionist.
Oh, right.
So just drawing on my own experience. So it was mostly, I didn't have to go, well, I actually didn't go to any places for this novel because I'd already been there. There were places that I was very familiar with.
So what's one of the like did you have something that was weird or odd that you researched that did it make it into the novel? Did it not make it into the novel? What's the weirdest thing you've had to look up?
Oh, for this novel, no, there wasn't anything that was
Okay.
particularly unusual. I
Mhm.
think I did a little bit of research on. I tell you, yeah, one
Yeah.
thing that was a bit mind blowing was
Yeah.
there's some dream sequences in the novel where there are fires, and
Oh.
I did some research on how fire spreads, and it's actually quite scary to think
Mm.
that a room could go up in within a minute or two. They had a
Mm.
fake room set up
Yeah.
and they set it alight and you can watch it happening the way
Wow.
the flames will climb up the walls and over the roof and down the other side again and it can happen within a minute
That is
and
scary.
oh that's very scary. Fire is
Yeah.
scary,
It
especially at this
really
time of
is.
the year, so yeah, that was quite mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's something we know very well being in Australia with bushfire season upon us.
Yes.
Yeah. So going from this novel back to your first novel, how long did this one take to write in comparison to your first novel? Did you have a tighter deadline and how did you go with
um
that?
I didn't really have a deadline, and I was kind of doing it concurrently
Mhm.
because you know how you think you're finished, and then you
Yep.
start something else, and then you find out no, you're not finished. You just need to
hmm
do more work. And it took me a couple of years in all, but the
Mhm.
original idea came to me probably about 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Um, so the original idea was about 15 years ago, and actually the
Mhm.
first novel I wrote, my practice novel, was
Mhm.
based around that one incident at
Okay.
that
Mhm.
time when I had that momentarily flash of madness. So yeah, so that
Okay.
was the idea I had about 15 years ago, but it
Wow.
wasn't until the last couple of years that I wrote this particular story.
Mhm. Okay. You just said that you've finished writing your third one.
Yes.
Has anything changed there with your writing style, with your plotting, the way you pace things up? Is there sort of, can you see that progression between the stories that you've written?
Well, my critique partners say that they improve, that each one it
Oh, great.
improves on the last one, which is
Hmm.
very gratifying to hear. But I seem to be stuck on this dual timeline type situation.
Mm,
I pretty much hooked on that. So it is
that's
a
good.
dual timeline, but it's more of a It's not chopping back and forth like this before she killed him, because the protagonist is in such a bad way mentally and
Mm,
physically. She's very fragmented and all over the place because we're sort of in her mind most of the time.
mhm.
The third novel I've written, it's more circular, so it will start at a
Mm.
certain point and go full circle, and then with a little bit of extra at the end.
Fascinating. So in a way, your style is coming along. So what we know you for is that dual timelines now. So that's your speciality, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, it wasn't, I didn't plan on, being someone who writes in dual timeline. It's just kind of worked out that way.
That's cool. I really like that. So, what about your editing process? Has that changed between book one and book two?
No, not really. I think
Hmm.
it's just kind of tightened up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I seek less feedback. Like I'll get
Interesting.
feedback from a couple of people, whereas the
Hmm.
first novel, I think I sent it around to about half a dozen. But I think I've got a couple of fantastic beta readers, and I pretty much leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty much the same, but just a little bit, more organized, I suppose, a bit more
Mm-hmm.
confident with it. But
Did you notice any of the same sort of, oh, I always write that word, or oh, that's happened again in this story? Do you find any of those sort of repetitious moments that you need to go back and cut a bit more of?
no, not really, because I think I've pretty much identified, or other people have identified my weaknesses. So, and also this character in Before She Killed Him is the complete opposite of the first character.
Oh, so that must just make it more interesting for yourself as a writer.
Yes, well, they're polar opposites, and I did that on purpose. Because there were some readers got a little frustrated with my first character because she was very passive. This character's the
Mm.
complete opposite.
Oh,
She's
fantastic.
very impulsive, not much of a filter really. She
Mm,
acts first and thinks later. So two completely different characters.
brilliant. What about your writing date? How has that changed at all? Or do you still prefer early mornings? What works for you?
I prefer early mornings,
Hmm.
yes. I must admit I've sort of haven't really done a lot over the last few months. I find from November to January I'm pretty much a write-off. I'm,
Hmm.
exhausted because I work full time, and, then get up at 6 in the morning and, do an hour or two, and then on the weekends as well. And I find it's like having an extra job, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was going to say I completely relate to that. It's you do
Yeah,
have your day job and then you've got your writing job and it's
yeah.
yeah, it definitely drains you after a little while, even though it's what you want to do.
Yeah, oh, that's right. It is what you want to do, but it's also work. It's still work.
It's the work. Yep.
It's work. We love to do it, but it's still work, and it's tiring after a while. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me because you've gone from your debut novel, here's your second novel. Have you got any how was the debut received? Did you have any favorite feedback or a particular response you got? And what about the responses to Before She Killed Him?
I think with the first novel, I was much more organized. Also, it was in the middle of the year, and when
Hmm.
I have much more energy, and I had a book launch for that in the middle of the year.
Amazing.
And I think one of my greatest fears around that time was
Mhm.
how it would be received by friends and family who may
Mm.
not, like a lot of people perhaps didn't know that I wrote fiction, and having them turn up to the book launch and read the book, and that was my
Wow.
greatest fear, but it was very well received, and that's made all the difference. So I've gone into the second novel feeling a lot more confident
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more relaxed about the whole thing.
Oh.
I didn't actually do a book launch in-person launch for this book. It was just the
Mm-hmm.
timing was all wrong, and
Timing's everything.
yeah, just wasn't the right time. So I didn't. I just did an online launch, but just
Mhm.
feeling much more relaxed about the whole process for this
Yeah.
second one.
So what have you learnt then between the two books, just about yourself as a writer?
I think you've just got to, let it. I suppose it's like with your children. You bring them up and try and instill your values, but at the end of the day, you've got to let them go out in the world and do whatever it is they're here to do. And it's the
Mhm.
same with the book. You can't hold it too tightly. You've got to let it go. Once it's published and out there for people to read, you've just got to let
Mhm.
it go and do its thing. And
So tell me then so book one, oldest child, care
yeah,
about it so much. Book two, can do whatever they want. What about book three?
book book three is probably going to have to fend for itself. It's probably going to be a little latchkey kid.
Yep, I love it. That is absolutely fantastic. So, a sneaky question.
Mm,
We do know that you had a moment where person walking in front of your car, you thought about it.
yeah.
Are any characters in any of your books based on anyone you know specifically? Say a
Oh.
family member or a friend or a work person, just even in general, just random extra characters, NPCs.
Well, the two teenage boys in the book, Simone's sons,
Hmm.
are very much based on my sons,
Hmm.
um, and how just the way they behaved and things that they said, expressions that they used at the time. So, and I've
Hmm.
I've told the boys, and they're not phased about it. I don't know. I think girls are a bit different. I've heard girls really are quite sensitive and they don't want their mums writing them and putting them in the books. And my boys just said, "Oh, cool."
Have they read it?
No, they haven't read it, but I think they'll be okay. There is another character who's just based on someone who's sort of an acquaintance. I don't know very well. The mother character, Simone's mother's based on just someone I know just around the traps. It's based on her. Who else? Oh yeah, people that I've been had close relationships with. Yeah, there's aspects of them that are also in the book as well.
We write what we know, don't we?
Yeah.
No, I think that's the best part about it. What are you hoping that people who read Before She Killed Him will take away from it when they read it?
Well, I hope people will see how you can become kind of typecast in your own life,
Mhm.
and people can make assumptions about you, and you can do the same to yourself. I think it's worse when you make assumptions about yourself, and you can sometimes, think the worst of yourself. The situation with Simone is that, this guy's dead and
Mhm.
in it's a bit suspicious circumstances and everyone thinks she's done it. And she initially thinks, oh yeah, that sounds like something I'd do. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I've, even though she's got a bit of a hazy memory,
Mhm.
she just takes it all on board that, the police want to question her, everyone's,
Mm.
pointing the finger, and she just immediately shares that assumption, oh yeah, I've done it. That's just like something I would do. But then as she goes on and memories resurface and she starts to question things and she's questioning, well, did I really do it or was there
Mhm.
something else going on?
Yeah.
And I think by the end of it, she knows herself and the people around her because she's not only made assumptions about herself, she's made assumptions about people around her, particularly around the issue of trust.
Hmm. Yeah. Sounds
Mm.
sounds quite quite heavy there. Um, particularly because memory is so amorphous. We don't know what we don't remember, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yes, like or you can have a partial memory or a hazy memory.
Mhm.
And in her case, because she's been in a car crash, she doesn't know whether she can trust her memories, and
Yeah.
her memories surface in dreams, and the dreams take on a life of their own, and she doesn't know what's a real memory, what's a dream,
Mhm.
and people are telling her, oh no, you're dreaming, that's not true. And her dreams and her memories are all getting mixed up together, and she really is having a hard time, working out where reality lies.
Mhm. Quick question. Both your novels are self-published?
No, they're published with Kingsley Publishers. They're a traditional publisher.
So how do you find those communications with the publishers? Certainly with the small publishers,
Yeah,
there's a lot more work that you need to do yourself that they put
yeah.
on you. How do you find your indie publisher?
Very good. Yeah, look, they've been very supportive from the beginning, and I was just so thrilled when they accepted my first novel. So I sent the draft off to them, and
Mhm.
they came back with a few suggestions here and there,
Okay.
but they basically let me write the story I wanted to write. And I know I'm not, while I do follow the rules and
Mhm.
follow the lines you're supposed to follow, I don't like anything that's really too formulaic.
Mhm.
I do like to sort of write what I want to write, and I've had people tell me, like with my first novel, oh, she's not in enough danger. She needs to be really in peril. And I thought, no, that's not the story I want to tell. I want to tell a story about someone who might be in danger. It's not like she's in imminent danger, and if she doesn't get out, she's going to, lose her life. That story was more of, well, the guy she's with, is he or isn't he? It
Mhm.
was that ambiguity. I like to have a certain amount of ambiguity
Mhm.
in it, because I just don't think life is that black and white. So I like in my novels not to be so black and white and follow the formula to the T. I like it to be a little bit grey, I suppose.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get the answers.
Well, that's right. So in life, you don't get the answers, and you just have to live with that and move on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, did you resubmit for book two, or were they already, let's go with book two? What's happening?
Well, yes, they were interested in book two. They said,
Amazing.
oh, that they were interested.
Oh, great.
So I sent it in to them, and thankfully they really liked it. And
That's
I think they did a fantastic job of the cover. I absolutely
yes.
love the
Did
cover.
you have any influence?
I did, yes. Well, I found the picture that I wanted,
Hmm.
and she wasn't my original choice. She's actually, the woman in that picture looks a bit younger and more
Okay.
glamorous than the character in the book.
Hmm.
But on the cover, I just think it looks fantastic. So
It
I'm really
really,
happy with
it
it.
really pops,
It
definitely.
does, yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of marketing, what have you learned over the course of a couple of books that you didn't know before that really authors should think about getting to learn? If
Yeah,
that
well,
makes
I think
sense.
yes, no, I understand.
Mm,
I think something that my publisher told me after my first book, and I,
mm,
went all out with the marketing and social media. I did as much as I possibly could.
mm.
And when that was all said and done, I said, "Oh, what do I do now?" And they said, "Oh, write your next book."
Hmm.
And, and I have heard that from other people, even from Graham Sensium, who's, such a best-selling author. He said, "Oh, you could do all this social media and go and travel the country and, show up to everything. But at the end of the day, the best way to sell your book is to write another book."
Yeah, that's
And
really good advice.
yeah, and interestingly enough, I once had a bookstagrammer say to me on over Instagram. She just
Mm.
says, "Get off social media and finish your next book. Stop
Wow.
wasting time on social media. Go and write your book." So,
Well, thank you very much.
so I thought that was very telling. I think readers just want the next book.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, we do have to be on social media, otherwise nobody will even know we exist. But by
Hmm.
the same token, um, we also need to write the next book. And I think, as you go and build up, a bit of a backlist and people get to know you, I think it takes a long time if you don't have the big publisher, pushing you here, there, and everywhere. It just takes time. And one nice thing I found is people have said to me, "Oh, I read your book in 2 nights, and then I passed it on to my friend." And I think
That's good feedback.
yeah, I think that's the way that books, I think, can take off is it can be under the radar. It doesn't necessarily show up on Goodreads or on your stats or anything. It's just the friend passed it to that friend, and then they passed it to the next friend, and then they hear,
Yeah.
oh, she's got another book,
Oh,
and
wow.
they listen, they pick up that one. So I think it's a long game, and you
Hmm.
just have to be patient and don't worry if, it's not doesn't seem to be, gaining much traction because it can take time. For example, I had someone contact me about my first book, which has been out for a couple of years, and they just recently read it. So that was lovely. So it takes time, and it doesn't matter if people don't read it the minute it's out in the world. Books stay around forever. So,
Yeah.
it's just a long game, and you've just got to be patient and keep writing your next book.
Great advice. So,
Mhm.
is that the advice you would tell your younger self?
Yeah. I'd say yes, you do have to do the social media and the marketing and all. You do have to do that, but don't let it take priority over writing the next book. So I really haven't done as much marketing for
Mm.
this book. And also another lesson I've learned is don't release a book at the end of the year because I'm just too tired. I'm exhausted. So I just haven't done as much simply because I have been so
Just
exhausted.
tired.
But yeah, whilst you must do all that and have the website, and so people can find you and people can
Mhm.
look you up if someone mentions your book and they want to find out. But really, the thing is, you got to write the next book.
Yeah.
Just keep writing more and more books and keep getting better and more people will find you.
Ugh, I love that. And now I know that you've got, yeah, well, you certainly did with your TikTok and with Instagram. Is there any new social medias that you've jumped onto or that you've dropped away from because you didn't see the benefit?
Well, I have started writing for the Medium platform.
Mm.
That's something I stumbled on it because I've always been aware of it, but the subscription kind of put me off. But anyway, there was a story I really wanted to read, so I bit the bullet and took
Mhm.
up a subscription. And
Okay.
I didn't know that anyone could start writing for them, and I
Oh,
also didn't
wow.
know you can actually earn money from it.
Hey.
So I've been doing a lot of that
Hmm.
over the past year, and that's been really good to get to know some more writers, and not just about books and writing, but just about other areas of interest in the world as well. So
Okay.
media's been really good. TikTok's good as well. Instagram's yeah, Instagram's very good. I've met a lot of people in real life from there, some really lovely people. So that's a
Hmm.
nice social site.
Hmm.
And I've returned to Facebook because I just think, well, I sort of am a little bit hesitant on Facebook because that's where all my people from
Hmm.
outside the reading community are, the friends,
Hmm.
family, co-workers who perhaps aren't that into books and literature. And I'm
Oh,
always a little bit hesitant of going on there. But I thought with the new book, I have to go on there because I've actually got more followers on that platform than any other.
wow.
I've returned to Facebook. Um,
Okay.
but I think if I'm trying something a bit newish, I tend
Hmm.
to do it on TikTok because I don't know many people in real life from TikTok.
Hmm.
And then Instagram, Twitter, or X or whatever they call it, I've sort of abandoned that. That's
Hmm.
that's pretty much a
A
waste.
no-show.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
When you talk about how you use social media with publicizing your books and that sort of thing, do you find that you need a different brain for putting together your promotional materials and the TikTok videos? Because certainly a lot of authors out there are thinking, I write books. I'm great at
Yeah,
writing books. TikTok just seems to, what do I do? So
yeah.
what would you say to those authors?
Just find your style. You don't have to go. You don't have to be on camera. I don't like being on camera. I'm a bit shy, and I really find it a big effort to be on camera. So I don't do that, but
Okay.
I will do. There's lots of tools you can use.
Mhm.
They have lots of templates, and there's an AI function now, so you can jazz it up a bit, or you can just even write a text. So
Yeah.
get onto Twitter, just follow accounts that you like. It doesn't all have to be book accounts, it can be any other areas of interest that you like.
Mhm.
Just see what everybody else is doing. Just pick up on the vibe. I find with TikTok, it's all very, people are quite raw
Mhm.
on TikTok, quite
Okay.
vulnerable,
Yeah.
and it's more people talking about things that they're struggling with. I find on
Mhm.
Instagram it's more of a positive vibe, which is lovely, and you
Interesting.
get the pretty pictures of the books and the soft
Hmm.
lighting and
The
everything.
flowers.
Yeah, I mean it's really lovely. It's really very pleasant to look at. But when you go on TikTok, it's a different vibe. It's more very raw, quite
Okay.
emotional. So that's interesting. But you don't have to. If you don't want to be on film, you don't have to be on film. There's other ways you can express yourself.
Hmm.
And also just follow accounts that you like. And as I say, if you want to have a friend be one,
Yeah,
and just support other creators and take an interest in other people. And, then perhaps they'll take an interest in you. But either way, it just kind of broadens your outlook a bit.
it is a really helpful network, isn't it? The
Hmm.
author network. I think a lot of authors really are supportive of other authors
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're not competing. We're
No.
joining.
Yes, no, we're not really, no, we're not competing. I suppose that there's no limit to the number of books you can have in the world.
Yeah.
And, the more the merrier. And I think we need to meet people who are as mad as we are and make
Hmm.
up, these fake people and situations and imaginary worlds. I think, most people would think we're a bit mad. So we have to stick
So,
together.
so very true. So we know book three is on its way. So you're finished. Do you have an idea of a date yet, or we just need to keep an eye out?
Well, I don't have a date as such. I want it finished by the end of the year, but having said that, I don't want to release a book at the end of the year
At the
again
end of
because
the year.
I'm too tired. So maybe early 2027, perhaps. I'm just giving
Cool.
myself a really long leash, but it
Mhm.
is finished. I have
Yeah.
edited it, I think I've done 2 rounds of edits.
Oh,
I want to
great.
do a third one, and
Mhm.
then perhaps we'll get one more beta reader, and then I think I'll be good to go.
Well, hey, looking forward to that. So, okay. So we were talking about online. Do you want to give us any of your online handles so people can find you? If you've
Oh,
got them
good
there, you might not
question.
have.
I think I have changed them all a little bit. So
Hmm.
if you want to go to my website, which is naomishippen.com,
We can find you there.
and then you can get my handles from here. But I think if you just type Naomi Shippen into the search bar, you'll be able to find me.
Brilliant. Okay, so lastly, I can't believe we've already got to the end of our chat. It's been so time has flown.
Yeah.
So tell me just advice for new writers who are just there. They've got their novel in their brain. They want to be a writer. What
Yep.
advice would you give
Go
them?
for it.
Hmm.
Just go for it. Just do it. I started out with when I first started writing, and you're a bit self-conscious and a bit scared, and you feel a bit silly. There's a
Hmm.
wonderful book called Fearless Writing by William Kenua.
Hmm.
Have you read that?
I have read that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really a good place to start to just loosen up the inhibitions. I think it's your inhibitions
Yeah.
that hold you back, and don't
Mhm.
don't really be worried about the the end results because they're probably going to be terrible. Your first draft is terrible, but it's
Always.
a process, and
Yep.
you've just got to keep working at it. It's a long game, but you've got to start somewhere. So if you want to do it, just do it. What's to stop you picking up your pen and paper or opening up your Word document on the computer? There's no one in the world who can stop you if you want to do it. So I say go for it.
I love that. That's fantastic. Well, once again, I would like to thank Naomi Shippen for joining me on the podcast and for talking to us all today. So have a fabulous rest of your day. And thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be back here again.
Oh, we love having you.
Oh,
I
thank
had to
you.
fight Veronica for this chat.
Goodness.
Oh, thank you so much again, Naomi. And for all of our listeners, bye for now. How good is doesn't this book sound like the hook of that start sounds just incredible. Yep.
And I love the title because Naomi did want to start with that.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Which,
Brilliant. It's
I
absolutely
love.
fabulous.
But also
yeah.
the fact that before she killed him, that there's this whole intro
Yes.
to this book, but you don't know what's happening. So
That's it.
I love it.
That's it. You got to go back. Yes, I
love a good
like
thriller.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
Comfort reads, bad guys all get caught. Yes, she likes those. The best ways to sell a book is to write the next one.
Yeah.
Good advice. And get off social media. She had someone tell her to get off social media and go and write that book. So yes, find your own style. Good on you, Naomi. That is brilliant. And Naomi is one of our subscribers, and we are very appreciative of her financial support to help us post all those books out, which is great. And
Yeah.
if you would like to do that, you can go to the
Yes.
website and the podcast
Yes.
and love the podcast and give us a couple of dollars a month or just a one-off. If you just
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, that was a good episode, I've got to give them a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Do that. That'll help us post out more beautiful books.
It's all about the postage.
It is all about the postage, man, and it's just gone up. I think, oh, really? Every time I go there. But anyway,
I
I've just
know.
got another 100 envelopes to
Oh, wow.
post the books
Well,
out because that's cheaper to buy with 100, but we've done that. Okay.
Yes. Oh, and keep an eye on the website because I believe we've had a bit of a rush of late of some
We
brand new
have.
books. So get on to the website if you haven't been for a while.
Yes, I had to tap into the family a little bit more, and I got my youngest helping me load the books because we had like 38 in the
Wow.
we had a big chunk from one particular author, but that was like about another dozen or
Aussie
15 authors.
Aussie authors getting it
Pure
done.
beauty, getting it done. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic, and all sorts, all
Yep.
sorts. Quotes, Laurie, what do you got?
Yes. Okay. So I thought I'd jump in with an editing one to sort of follow on from last week or from last time with some of the editing issues that descriptions that we were talking about. And this is a nice one that really gives you that view of that show don't tell thing. So if you tell the reader that Bill Beasley is a brutal-faced, loose-lipped bully with snake's blood in his veins, the reader's reaction may be, oh yeah. But if you show the reader Bull Beasley raking the bloodied flanks of his weary, sweat-encrusted pony and flogging the tottering, red-eyed animal with a quirt, or have him booting in the protruding ribs of a starving mongrel, and boy, the reader believes, which is a quote from Fred East. But it's a really great way of really getting that show part across to an author because it's hard to do that sometimes. You go, okay, no, I thought it was pretty descriptive, and then you come across a passage and you think, oh, that's what they mean.
Yes, and the visceral emotions that second,
Right?
quote that you just like,
Immediately you were thinking,
"Ugh."
okay, I hate this guy.
Yeah, absolutely disgusted. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not my favorite. He must be the evil. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
And
no
that's
coming back from that.
before telling us that he's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's all in the little movements and the
Yeah.
moments. So yes, for those
Yeah.
like me that struggle with a bit of show don't tell or just getting that descriptive piece in, that's a nice example
Yeah,
quote.
it is
So
indeed. All
Yeah.
right, let me give you one from Anne Lamott, who wrote Bird
Okay.
by Bird, another
Yes.
fabulous,
Mhm.
helpful book for authors. I still encourage anyone who feels at all compelled to write to do so. I just try to warn people who hope to get published that publication is not all it is cracked up to be. But writing is. Writing has so much to give, so much to teach, so many surprises. That thing you had to force yourself to do, the actual act of writing, turns out to be the best part. It's like discovering that while you thought you needed the tea ceremony for the caffeine, what you really needed was the tea ceremony. The act of writing turns out to be its own reward. I would
Oh, I
absolutely have to
love
agree
that
with you, Anne.
quote. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Very
Sometimes
good.
it is about the journey. Only because afterwards it's all business. It's
Yes.
all business brain. It's how do I do this? Why do I do this? What am I doing? How am I plugging this in? How am I registering my tax? All of that sort of stuff. But the actual writing part is kind of the best part when you really get down to it.
It absolutely is. I
Mm.
totally agree. So that's our lot for this
Yes.
evening. So thank you to Naomi for a fabulous chat. Jump in and get her book Before She Killed Him,
Yes.
which is the latest thriller. Very good. Now, Laurie, we need to
Yes.
remind people to do something, don't we?
We do indeed. We need
All
to
right.
remind everyone to read
Read more
more Aussie
Aussie
books.
books. Bye for
Bye
now.
for now.
Let's meet again. Where magic happens.